Can you guys hear me okay? How is my microphone? Thank you, Olivia. How's everybody doing tonight? Do you guys remember in the transcript um, regarding the Delphi murders where it said that TK bit his wife at the time in the stomach? Do you think that means anything? I'm wondering if it's something they're dealing with in the Delphi case. Because it would be something like that that would, I don't know, that'd be like a real pattern, you know? If I think if law enforcement saw that, they would pretty much be like, wow, it'd be pretty rare for somebody to, two separate killers connected to the Anthony shots. Be pretty rare for both of them to bite on the stomach because people do certain things out of rage without realizing.
About learning of that video?
I myself learned within probably 24 hours, I'm going to say, something like that. So sometime late in the afternoon of the next day, I'm not sure the exact time. Like I said, it's been a couple years ago, but I knew pretty early what they had, and we were trying to decide what we could do with it and what we wanted to do with it. I can't remember the exact date of when we released the photo. Maybe within the first 2 weeks, I'm not sure. Actually, I think it was a little bit more than that because I was actually getting ready to go on a vacation like the 1st of March. So this case was still only 2 weeks old when I left.
Right. I want to go back to the video for a moment. Have you seen?
I don't know, Derek. Derek says, I think you're responding to the biting of the belly, right? Derek Farmer says, like an alpha dog controlling the pack will bite the others. I think this is different. I think this is like an uncontrollable thing, like in the middle of the rage and in the, right smack dab in the middle of the dominance comes the bite to the belly. It might be something uncontrollable. Signature, maybe?
The whole video?
Yes.
Obviously, without telling us the parts that you don't want to release, can you tell us what that's like to watch that video?
It was scary. I guess would be one way to put it. Just seeing, just seeing the feelings that were going through the girls at the time. I'm not going to say which one in particular, but just knowing that
What does that mean? That means something really messed up was caught on that tape. I'm not going to say which one. Well, why would you say any at all? Like, what do you mean I'm not going to say which one? I don't know. The statements by Kim Riley right here tell a lot. And they say a lot.
just knowing what they knew is just frightening for a 13 or 14-year-old girl to know. And I just think it kind of went through my mind over and over again for a long time. Every now and then I'll think about it. But for the first 6-8 months, I mean, it was something I was going through for all the time. I was always thinking about it. It was just very heart-wrenching for an adult to deal with it, let alone a 13 and 14-year-old.
So he was saying basically the things that he was hearing and seeing, made him scared for himself. So I don't know what that means.
Girl. It was scary. It was, I felt so sad. There was nothing I could do, but that's the way it is, Unfortunately, we're not there for our kids all the time, and sometimes bad things happen. And I guess that's the only way I can explain it.
A few days into the investigation, Sheriff Tobe Lesenby also saw that video and understood immediately the importance of what they found.
Do you recall when you found out that there was a video that Libby had taken?
Again, it may have been that same day.
All right. I want you guys to listen to the energy that Tobe has to muster to answer this question. Now pay attention to this.
That Libby had taken.
Again, it may have been that same day or possibly the next day. It wasn't, again, long after the initial information came into us, but, initially that was safeguarded very closely.
Did you watch the video that early in the process?
As I recall, I would say it was just a matter of days, and when I say days, maybe no more than.
Chickpea Marie, how are you? Says, man, a grown man biting his wife is some real psycho BS. Well, now that depends. Are you biting her in anger or are you nibbling? But you have to remember, according to the affidavit, he didn't just bite this person. He punched her in the face, smashed a child's face into a toilet seat, I believe, and then dunked the small child into the water. Extremely violent.
A couple of days into it that I had the opportunity to review it.
And I know there's stuff in that video that you're not releasing publicly. Can you talk, though, a little bit about that process of watching that?
Sounds like this is Barb, both of these interviews. I'm going to have to say Barb is the best of the best. I mean, the questions that she asked cut to the heart of the matter without really revealing any details. She's getting to the emotion of it, and I just, kudos to Barb.
That video and what that was like?
Early on, like many of us in our leadership roles, and many have commented since then, and Mike Patty and I have even talked about it, but for Libby to have that mindset to be able to do what she did, in my mind, I thought,
Kim Riley and Toe both say that what Liberty did is going to basically be a huge part in the trial process, or in the court proceedings. What she did was a huge piece of evidence. So the way they make it seem is that she knew. It was like, okay, I screwed up. It's like, it's almost like the way Toe makes it seem. It's like Liberty was like, man, my worst fear. Like I thought this could be a possibility, but there's no way I really thought it would be happening. But sure enough, we're two young girls here trapped on a bridge with a perpetrator that may have just catfished us. And Kim Riley, the way he makes it sound is like, even if you were a grown ass man, you may have been in a compromising position. Because think about it, grown men are overpowered all the time. So, we could be dealing with a very complex perpetrator. I really don't know. Yeah, Barb is one of the best. The questions that she asked, Tobe on that other HLN program, where she asked some detailed questions about the DNA. Man, Tobe basically admitted, like, we don't know if the DNA that we have belongs to that killer. Wow, that's big time.
she's helping here. She's telling us something. And obviously, as time went along, we found out what she was telling us. And so, yeah, when I first saw it, I guess knowing, she's at the age that she is at that point, I'm thinking, she's sharp. This is great.
Okay, what's the difference between somebody who is just filming? We're just two girls, we're filming. What separates that from law enforcement saying, this girl is sharp. What she did was extremely important. What she did, we know she did it for the case, even though she knew that, what was about to happen. Kim Riley says they knew what was coming. Okay. So that means that there was violence. There may have been some type of violence perpetrated against them extremely quick. That's just what it sounds like. So they're not making it. I don't think that they're giving her false credit anymore. At one point, I thought they were just trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, she was brave and she filmed this, even though she may have just been filming it anyway, and then it happened to turn into a murder. But no, the way that Tobe's making it seem here is that there's some piece of information that indicates that what she did was purposeful. She knew that what she was doing was leaving a clue, regardless of the expectation. So the way Kim Riley makes it seem is that she may have already have been violated, and it's not over now. You know what I mean? So who's to say they weren't attacked? This person walks after he attacks them, walks down the bridge, looks around, comes back and attacks them more. Like, we really don't know the story.
You know, it's all kudos to her for what she did there. I think it was definitely felt to be a huge asset in what, you know, we continue to do here and follow into this. And so, and I still feel like at the end of the day, so to say, that it's still going to be a plus to have that on board.
When you heard the voice, what went through your mind?
My initial thought was that is Satan's voice himself. I'm a very spiritual.
Mandy, hello, Mandy, says, I wonder why Carter says that the video has added a little bit of weight. I think because it can, in some way, can verify or can eliminate certain people to an extent. You know what I mean? Not to mention, there could be things in that video, like what Burston says. You know, like you got some things on the left, some things on the right. When you're trying to film, you know, a motion picture, you're not going to see all those things. You're just only going to capture what's in the frame. So to me, they're telling us, you know, that there's things there that are captured in that video. Possibly, maybe when they go down the hill, it could be her running down the hill, and then there could be other perpetrators down the hill. But if they're masked perpetrators, what's the point of even bringing them up? Oh, there were two guys that were masked down the hill. What's the point of that? Honestly, how is that going to help? But you got this guy on the bridge who's not masked, you know, potentially. He could be. I mean, that video is so bad, you really don't know. He could be partially, his face could be partially covered.
Man. So that was my exact thought, that that's the devil himself speaking.
Do you listen to people when you're walking around town, when you're sitting in restaurants? Are you listening for that voice?
Not so much during right now.
The camera putting on weight, that's one thing. You know, that's even just a clear image. You know, they say even, you know, anytime an actor or an actress or anybody on camera, it's going to put on, what did they say, 15 pounds? Okay, now take into consideration how blurry that image is, how much motion blur, double exposure. It's yeah, it's really ridiculous. Like, in the long run, that image may have done more harm than good, unfortunately. Um, and that kind of comes back to the frustration of the case. Yeah, scary. So I don't care if you're two 13, 14-year-old girls, the way that Kim Riley makes it sound is as if, even as a grown man, like, you could have been at risk. Chickpea says the video may demonstrate the killer's premeditation or intent, maybe even motive. Sounds like he's talking about a clever girl hiding her phone while she was recording. Yeah, that's possible as well. Like, what if the bridge guy in the distance was just caught on the camera and really she was filming somebody else, you know? Yeah, definitely baggy jeans. multiple sketches. And that's the frustration with the investigation, is that they have all these witnesses, and some of the witnesses are describing what they seen, but what they seen was something explainable, like another searcher, or they're trying to be helpful, but really it's just part of the confusion that has to be worked out by investigators that could take weeks or months, sometimes years. I don't blame you. Derek Farmer says, I do have 2 new POIs based on the combination of the 2019 presser and the rumored Reddit kid who was hitchhiking from Vegas. Yeah, I mean, it's straight from the rumor mill when it comes to this hitchhiking kid from, with connections to Vegas. But man, it fits now. I don't know how legit that story is, but man, that would just fit right into the narrative, honestly. Hold on. There was something I was working on. See if I can find it. Might not be ready yet. Mm-hmm. And there was also some reports that weren't right at the beginning, but right kind of midway, where they started asking about a hitchhiker. So if it wasn't for those reports, and I've seen them, I've had the videos of them, where law enforcement literally asks, like, hey, if you've seen anybody hitchhiking around the Monon High Bridge or the Freedom Bridge, like, let us know. Like, why would they say that? So it's either that they took that information and made up a story, or that story produced the reason that that story exists, TTM Fangirl says, what's your thoughts on friend 1 now in Vegas jail? Yeah. Yeah. To me, he's just as suspect as Keegan Klein, Tony Klein. Friend 1, to me, if anybody's a bridge guy, it's him. But I'm not saying he's like a person of interest. I'm just saying, like, that. I mean, everything to me that makes sense. A young person, a capable person, military background. They have the skills. so to speak. And at the time was whacked out on drugs. So maybe with the help of Tony Klein, I don't know. I doubt it. To be honest, I think friend one is more a person of interest to me and maybe some other friends of Keegan Klein. I think these are young people that did this crime. But yeah, definitely Tony Klein could have definitely, you know, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Who knows what these guys are doing. I mean, you hear them talk about PCP and all that. Like, I mean, have you seen like those videos of people that are high on angel dust and PCP and they're knocking out like 5 cops in a row? Like, I mean, it really doesn't matter how good a shape you're in at that point. Smoking PCP, jeez. I don't know. I mean, what's going to make those girls run? It's either they were already down the hill. You know what I mean? They were already down the hill. They came back up, and maybe one of the persons that was down the hill with them came up with them, passed them, and they came back and forced them back down the hill. That's what I'm saying. There's like so much we don't know. Um, for instance, the Apple River stabbings, like the whole story was skewed. And if the guy was never caught, we would never really know the true answers because they would keep all that information hidden. They had the video of him and the attack and everything. So I think once they find the guy and all the information comes out, we're gonna be like, wow, we didn't even know about any of this. Like, no wonder why it didn't make sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, but then you got to realize, Derek, that them saying shocking the community, I mean, what does that really mean? Like, you can't use that as like a part of your profile, because if anybody's caught for a double homicide of 2 young girls, like, it's going to shock anybody that you know. So you can't look at that and say like, okay, the suspect is somebody you wouldn't suspect or somebody hiding in plain sight. But the truth is, when they say hiding in plain sight, the FBI probably, they just, when they were giving them the profile, they said this is probably a killer that's hiding in plain sight, somebody that you wouldn't expect based off of our profile. It doesn't mean that they know who the person is and that they know that they have 4 kids and that they're a major member of the society. They're just saying we have a profile based off the information. We're assuming you're hiding in plain sight. They would have to know somebody specifically for it to mean anything. Yeah, friend one had a military background. Cindy says, "What's up, Cindy? Derek, do they say we would be shocked because of who it is or what they did?" Yeah, I think it's just part of the profile. Like they don't know who this person is. They're just working with the information that they have and they're trying to, generate something. So the information left at the crime scene would lead them to believe that, they made these certain comments, it would trigger a response. I don't know. I think part of me is like, how did they get away with the crime? In order for them to get away with the crime, they would have to do something really sneaky. Um, so in order for them to get away with it, they're hiding in plain sight. So maybe that's what I'm saying. That's why the whole Apple River case stands out to me, because this guy left his group, went and committed this crime, and then came back and like rejoined his group and didn't say anything about it. Could that be something similar with Delphi? Could the killer have been with a group of people totally, unsuspecting of something like this, and then, hey, I'm going to run to my car, I'll be right back. Or, hey, I'm going to go pick up my brother or my sister and I'm going to be right back. I promise, like, I'll come back and get you guys. Oh, yeah, okay. But really, he just goes to the car, changes the way he looks, puts on a hat, whatever. Just saying, it's possible. I mean, we look at true crime all day and we see how these people think. I mean, of course it's possible. Yeah, sharp edged blade. Yeah, and Kim, Riley, and Tobe were both shook by what they saw. So said hello, neighbor. Yeah, his name is Logan. That's it. That's all I could find. Well, anybody really. Yeah, the movie. I saw the movie. I haven't read the book. Miss Thing, we could only hope, but I don't think so. I think there's a big chance that they can solve this case without Kagan Klein's help. Somebody may have been using his phones or his accounts. What's up, Dave? What are you doing in the car? What are you traveling? Safe travels, my friend. Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy. Darkness. Darkness is spreading. When Lesenby said he thought he was listening to the devil's voice on the recording, do you think Satanism could be the non-secular part? Yeah. Man, I just feel like even when I'm looking at that bridge video, like the motion video of him crossing that bridge, I just feel there's just something about it. Like, man, like what if this was like some type of ritualistic killing? Think about it. 3 p.m., 2/13, 2017, right before Valentine's Day, Lupercalia. I mean, we don't know. You know, what's motivating this guy? There is some numerology that's playing into this. I mean, who kills two teen girls in the middle of the day? Why would you do that? What's motivating you to do that? Power. What do you mean power? How do you get power from killing two young girls in the middle of the day? Oh, rituals. You're conducting a ritual. I don't know. That's just, to me, that's my common sense right there. This is a ritualistic killing. I mean, how else do you kill somebody? You gain power. Yeah. Or his current lawyer is just like, I need more time. You know, I want to look at all of the evidence. You guys had a whole team looking at the evidence. You know, it's just me. I need to look at all of this. If you think about it, really hasn't had a lot of time. Yeah, the shack, like the beginning of the movie, it's kind of like plays out like a drama, but then it turns into kind of like a, I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. But I preferred the beginning half of the movie, which is more drama based, and then the second half of the movie kind of gets a little weird, in my opinion. Paganism. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely could be like a satanic cult or, you know, something along those lines. A group of people that escalated. Maybe they went from killing animals. You know, some sick people out there. There's some sick people that are like, man, I wish one day I'm going to kill a person. You know, you have some people that are like, one day I can't wait to drive a John Deere tractor. You know, that'll be one hell of a day. There's some people that are like, one day I can't wait till I can kill somebody. Yeah, Odinism. I've heard, you know, I've heard a lot of rumors about that. Um, I don't have anything really to back that up. Yep, Valentine's Day has a pagan origin. Lupercalia. 13th through the 15th. And you would basically attack women, take sex. Men would take sex from women at their leisure. Tammy says perhaps Liberty was pretending to be into the Anthony shots to get close to whoever was behind the account to get info. I mean, girls talk, especially friends, so she would know she was talking to multiple girls. Actually, that's a good theory because, from what I understand, her phone was reset right after she was introduced to Anthony Shots. So she was introduced to Anthony Shots. Boom. The next day, her phone's reset for whatever reason. You know, and in the transcript, it says he blocked her. But there's also some information in Kagan Klein's transcript where the phone that he uses on his person, like he has these other phones that he uses just to catfish, but he has his main iPhone where I believe it was from the 10th of February to the 16th of February where he would have been grooming her, or somebody using his phone potentially was grooming her, and it was deleted. So all of the other phones, nothing was deleted. You know, they were able to recover everything. But on this specific phone, his main phone, from the 10th to the 16th, it was deleted. So the evidence that they needed to bust this piece of shit could have potentially been right then and there. So, I mean, that's a good theory. He was talking to Liberty's friend. Liberty's friend is who introduced Anthony Shots to Liberty. So maybe Liberty's friend was like, hey, you know, like this guy, I've been talking to him, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, maybe they were playing junior detectives. I really don't know. I doubt it. Kelsey talks about a fight with one of her best friends. I think they were fighting over Keegan Klein. Honestly. But I mean, how do you explain? Like, why did they need to delete the phone? There's something that we don't know or something that we're not being told about that. Right? You know, Friday the 3rd is when that phone was apparently factory reset. Why? Why was the phone factory reset on the day that she met Anthony Shots? Why? And who reset the phone? Who told her to reset the phone? Man. Yeah, she was. And that's probably why she's like, this might be my last act, but I'm going to document this guy. And that's what Kim Riley and Tobe Lesenby are making it seem like, is like she knew. This wasn't just her filming something that she wasn't expecting to turn into a crime. You know, it was just happenstance. No, they're making it seem like she's like, oh man, I got to document this because, you know, this is it. Yeah, she was interested in forensics and investigation, or true crime in general, to be honest. Dave Dean says, I really don't think the phone reset is the most important thing. Well, the reason I think it's important is because somebody had to say, hey, look, we need to reset this phone. Okay. So that means that Liberty was like, went to an adult and said, hey, I may have done something I shouldn't have done, or I was communicating with a creep online and I may have gone too far. And how do I get all this information off of my phone? Like, what's going on? Or maybe they were using some type of method. Maybe they hacked her phone. Who knows? And but I mean, the timeline coincides. Friday the 10th, and that's when she was introduced to this Anthony Schatz character. We know that he befriended her on Instagram way before that, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about when he finally was able to talk with Liberty or see pictures of her or, communicate with her directly. It was February 3rd, Friday, February 3rd. And apparently, from what I understand, is the same time she reset her phone. So why does that coincide? Um, why did she reset her phone? Did she reset her phone? It's so weird. It's just weird to know that they were talking about that at the beginning. When I first looked into this case, they were always talking about resetting this phone and how it played no part in the case, and her phone was just slow, you know? But now, come to find out, she reset her phone the same day she met Anthony Schatz. Like, who told her to reset the phone? Why is she resetting the phone? What happened? Don't worry, Sleepy. We're getting out of here. This is going to be a short one. We're only staying here about another 5 minutes. I really just wanted to talk about CD's video and really what it meant. There was a lot, to me, there was a lot of information there if you really look at it. The money account, there's so much to this story that we have no clue about. We don't know anything. Cindy says, what could Libby have said to KK to irritate him enough to block her? It's a good question. Like, did he piss her off somehow? Or did she piss him off? I'm sorry. Yeah, Derek. There's something. It's almost like, hey, like, I need to just reset my entire phone. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm that concerned about it. I'm just gonna factory reset my phone, and then boom, I'll just log into all my accounts again, and it won't matter. Like, what causes that? Something happened. Because in the transcript, the same day, well, basically, February 10th. Or was he asking her to do something and her phone couldn't handle it? What if her phone was unable to do the things that he was trying to get her to do? Like, hey, I need you to upload these videos, or I need you, like, oh, it's not uploading the video. Okay, we'll reset go ahead and run a factory reset, and then I'll go ahead and get you your money, when you're done. Maybe it was something along those lines. What do you think? Because sometimes when your phone's just not really that good, or you got one of those cheap Androids and you're trying to do something with it, or maybe download a file and you just run out of space. Or what if there was a virus? What if he sent her a link? She clicked it and somehow he was able to maybe gain control of her phone or something. Or track her. Yeah, especially at that age, for sure. And it's unfortunate because early on in the case, even just talking about catfishing and things like that, it's almost like victim shaming. It's like there's no evidence to say that they were catfished or that they were irresponsible online or the parents were irresponsible. Um, so you got to, you have to be careful because obviously that wasn't victim shaming and that was a good theory. And that's something that we should have been looking at the beginning. Um, for example, you have Gray Hughes. Like he had access to the Anthony Shots information before anybody knew about it. And once you have that information, it doesn't mean anything when you first glance at it. But later on down the road, if you stay active and you keep digging into your information, eventually, let's say law enforcement never discovered the Anthony Shots. Look how close, or potentially, somebody like a Gray Hughes would have been right there on the cusp of some very pertinent information. So let's say you have the information early on, it doesn't really mean anything, and then you're going over all this other information, and then boom, it pops up again. You're like, wait a minute, and then it clicks. Unfortunately, it didn't click for him, but it's still cool and interesting that he was able to have his hands on that information and potentially be in a position to do something with it. And that's what we try to do as armchair investigators, is we try not to make that mistake. We try to get that information and actually do something with it, but that's extremely rare. It's not going to happen often, and can't expect much to happen with random information like an Anthony Shots. But maybe a more open-minded sleuth, who knows? We'll never know now. All right, guys, we're at the 1 hour mark. I'm gonna go eat some leftovers. Hopefully that'll put me to sleep. Maybe I'll drink a beer. Yeah. Charlie Murphy. That's what I was thinking too. The money account. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody who was participating in the chat. This actually turned out to be a great conversation. CD dropped a great video. Was a great conversation starter. So I'll see all of you very soon, I'm sure. Thanks for joining me. Sweet dreams. Take care.